Oh, he's the shove it man. Oh, he's the shove it man. He's gonna shove it. Yeah, he's gonna shove it, man.
Alright, Brick Squad, I expect we still won't quite be on 100k by the time I upload this video, so no need to do anything different here. For those of you who are wondering, Ring of the Hawk is not dead. I'm just waiting to start Season 3 of a bang, but I guess it's going to be more like a bang covered in grease. Now let's get on with episode 49 and 50 of TNA before I spray. I'm pretty sure this is the episode where something big's going to happen. We start with Raven and the Gathering in some sort of trailer park. It looks so far from the WWE at this point. Raven swears he's going to be the NWA champion, as usual. We've got a triple threat for that belt tonight. Raven doesn't even deserve to be in the match though, he only got in it because he kept throwing a tantrum. Julio starts cutting a promo on D'Lo Brown before that very man jumps him, so I guess we're going straight into that match now. They fight into the ring. For some reason the crowd are chanting for Julio and booing D'Lo. Out of nowhere, D'Lo runs up to the top rope and snaps off a Frankensteiner. Mickey tries to jump him, but D'Lo catches her. Julio saves her and then he sort of kicks D'Lo out of the ring. He didn't connect properly, it looks like bird turd. More fighting on the outside of the ring. Mickey holds onto D'Lo's leg, which allows Julio to connect with a net breaker across the ropes. He follows that with a dive to the outside. Mickey starts distracting the ref now whilst Julio puts a chair around D'Lo's neck and pushes him into the ring pole. D'Lo is quite slow to get back into the ring, so Julio hits a guillotine leg drop. D'Lo can't manage anything in this one. It's an impressive performance by Julio. He now hits a fisherman suplex followed by a backbreaker. More cheating now. The crowd are loving D'Lo getting dominated. Julio now with some wacky spinning net breaker from the top rope. That's just another two. D'Lo now finally manages something and he drops Julio on the turnbuckle. He hits the suplex into the cutter followed by a big kick. Now Mickey is interfering again and she hits a diving DDT on him which allows Julio to get another two. Then completely out of nowhere D'Lo hits the sky high and that's the three for some reason. A very unconvincing win for D'Lo. I'm surprised he got booed after hitting that low down to the outside of the ring last week. But let's be honest, he's directionless and he's kind of boring at this point. Funny botch from Don West now, he's talking about Paul London and he says he isn't here because he's in London. Then he changes that to Japan. 5-minute video package recapping everything Russo has done to TNA so far. Give me a break, I almost fell asleep. Things get worse now because TNA is in the ring for an interview of gifted Glenn Gilberti. How is he gifted? TNA asked Disco why Vince Russo hit him with a bat last week. Disco says he has no idea why Russo double-crossed him. Disco says it was Russo's fault that the Montreal Screwjob happened, Judy Bagwell, the Viagra on the pole match and David Arquette. Disco reveals he doesn't actually think any of those things were a good idea. The Disco Inferno says Russo crossed him because he was jealous of the way Disco had been leading the Sports Entertainment Extreme faction. The crowd chant boring. They're tired of hearing about Vince Russo at this point. Why does he need to have so much time dedicated to him like he's some sort of star? Then Russo jumps Disco with a bat. Vince is screaming swear words at him so much for main eventer Glenn Gilberti. The Harris twins pull Russo off of him. Don West thinks Russo has now killed Disco, so he's now dead. Scott Hudson will make his TNA debut now as the backstage interviewer. He's with the kid from the Midwest, Chris Sabin. Sabin says he's 21 years old and he vows to be a fighting champion, despite not defending his belt since winning it. He says he's found an incredible opponent tonight. His opponent will be head and tails above the rest because it's Sharkboy. He starts doing the Jaws theme music as he walks towards the camera. Elsewhere in the back, New Jack and Sharkboy are playing Twister. Sharkboy ends up with his ass in New Jack's face, which upsets him. He says it stinks, he hasn't washed it in a month. His eyes are burning, so he sends Sharkboy away for his match. And that match is now. Chris Sabin defends his title against Sharkboy. The cage dancer seems to love Sharkboy's music. We start with some nice chain wrestling, which Sharky wins with a hip toss. Sabin's in a bad mood and he slaps the Shark. Sabin hasn't landed a move yet as Sharkboy does a Russian leg sweep. Now he sends Sabin out of the ring and I guess he does some sort of kick, a reverse drop kick or something to the outside. Sharkboy sends Sabin into the crowd, but he can't suplex him back and Sabin reverses it into a German. The crowd chant Hell Sabin. Back at the ring, Sabin misses his splash. Sharkboy with a wheelbarrow bulldog now, he's dominating this one. Sharkboy bites Sabin in the corner and wants to follow that, and he does with a top rope dropkick. Another two for Sharkboy. Chris Sabin finally manages a move now as he drops the Shark across his knee. Sharkboy immediately retaliates with a net breaker. He tries another dive, but Sabin catches him and connects with a backbreaker. Sharkboy hits the DSD and I thought it's over, but Sabin gets his foot on the rope. Sharky hasn't really got any more moves left, so he tries it again, but this time Sabin stops him. Chris Sabin hits the Future Shock and that's the 3. A fun match, but not your typical X Division match. Sabin says he's now going to unmask the goofy Sharkboy. New Jack rushes the ring. He's annoyed because he wanted to finish his game of Twister with Sharkboy. New Jack's doing well, but beyond boring, Mike Sanders is here. Sabin and Sanders give New Jack a stomping. Some security geeks eventually break it up. 2 live crew in the back threatening the Harris boys for their possible racist comments on the last show. Conan vows he's going to spank that ass. That match is now. The Harris brothers. I feel like falling asleep when I see these guys. Truth and Conan are out now. Truth looks a lot happier this week. He does a little jig. I'm finding it really hard to care about this match. I've been asleep since I saw the Harris brothers. One of the Harris boys hits a big boot on the ring apron. It's supposed to look impactful, but for some reason it doesn't. This match goes on for ages as well, which isn't helping. There's brawling on the outside, which allows the Mold Dog to interfere. He hits a chair shot and that's the 3. Happy it's over. In the back, a wild Slapnuts appears.
Jeff Jarrett.
Feels like it's been at least a month since I said that one. He's interviewed by Mike TNA about having to defend his title in a triple threat of AJ Styles and Raven. They move on to talking about Russo for ages because he is of course the star of the show. Jarrett confirms he has no relationship with Russo. It feels like the same stuff is happening from 30 episodes ago. In the back, Scott Hudson is with Eric Watts, Goldilocks and Trinity, who will be in a handicap match tonight. Watts won't admit that he's having a relationship with Goldilocks. Trinity says she's enjoying being abused by Kid Cash because she's from New York. What the hell is Abyss, the debut of the Abyss character? He takes out Eric Watts. Kid Cash is here and he's very confident about his upcoming match now. No mention is made of Abyss formerly being Justice on the first TNA pay-per-view, and rightfully so. Kid Cash is out. Now Goldilocks and Trinity make their way out, but Goldilocks is scared. Trinity is looking good tonight, and just as I say that, she rushes the ring and her top snaps off. She desperately tries to cover up her boobs as Goldie distracts Cash. So this is going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match now. Trinity starts off with a 2 count. Now she scores an arm drag on Cash. The last time these two met, it was legit the worst match of TNA so far. Cash fights back with a net breaker whilst Goldilocks dumps in a nappy of anger. Kid Cash hits a slingshot suplex now, but he doesn't want the 3 yet and pulls Trinity up. Kid Cash is now thrusting at Goldilocks. For some reason, Kid Cash locks on a claw now. He stops pretty quickly because he's distracted by Goldilocks. He shoves her off the ring apron. Goldilocks rushes the ring and jumps on his back and then she hits a smack. He puts the claw on her and tries to force her towards his nutsack. She smacks him in the slash zone. Trinity grabs his arm and springs for the top with an arm drag. She also connects with a really nice looking kick, which is just a 2. Trinity has him on the top rope now and hits more kicks. She can't hit a suplex as Cash looks to hit a powerbomb, but damn, Trinity snaps off the Hurricanrana in midair. Then the Monster Abyss rushes the ring and hits Trinity at the Black Hole Slam. Kid Cash makes the cover with his foot whilst Goldilocks watches on, so I've no idea why she was even put in this match if she didn't care about it. A much better showing for Trinity this week, especially when her tits came out. Oh look, Devon Storm is back in TNA again. He tries to sell us on the concept of the Hard 10 tournament, but I'm not buying it. Storm almost cuts a Scott Steiner mass promo as he calculates how he's going to beat the Sarman tonight in the point scoring tournament. In the back, D'Lo Brown seems to have joined the Red Shirt security. They want him to leave the building as they're scared he's going to ruin the main event tonight. D'Lo Brown says they'll have to shoot him tonight if they think they can keep him away from Raven. Great, the Hard 10 matches now. The only thing I'm happy about seeing is Devon Storm. He's taking on the Sarman, who doesn't go into the crowd for the first time ever. Storm jumps him on the outside. This could be okay because Storm does have a habit of being creative in his matches. They have a fight with the kendo stick leading to a monkey flip. Now 3 quick kendo stick shots for Devon Storm. Sarman then shows him how it's done and he floors him with just 1 shot. He hits another 3 as the score is now 4-3 Sarman. For some reason, Sonny, don't look at my Asiaki is here now with a shopping cart full of weapons. Devon Storm hits a splash into the ring followed by a moonsault. Unfortunately, he's forgotten the rules of this match. He tries to make the pin. Storm manages to bring the score to 4-all. Now he sits Sarman on a chair on the outside and he hits a splash from the ring. Storm is really disappointed to learn that this doesn't score him a single point, so it was a complete waste of time. He hits a chair shot in anger. Storm has now retrieved a ladder from the crowd. He hits a trash can lid shot and throws Sarman into the ladder. He tries it again and Sarman reverses it into a ladder suplex. There's massive confusion over what constitutes a weapon shot. Sarman hits a bulldog on the ladder, but then it all goes wrong for the Sarman as he misses the Swanton bomb.
Dude, I was watching the NWA TNA show the other day, man, and this dude, the Sandman, he stole my Swanton bomb finishing maneuver, man, but he missed it. Man, I've warned you before, Sandman, so now I'm going back to Carolina. And I gonna tell my stoner friend Shannon that I'm really unhappy with you, man.
Storm with the Northern Light suplex onto the chair. Siaki starts getting involved because he doesn't like the Sandman. Sandman throws him into a fence to get rid of him, and he throws Storm on top of him. Sandman now has Storm set up on a table across the ring barrier. The Sandman dives from the top of the ladder with a swanton bomb that left Jeff Hardy dumping in his nappy. And the Sandman is the winner of the match and he advances in this stupid tournament. Why does Siaki look like he's just come from a swimming pool? He attacks the Sandman and sprays beer all over him. Up next, a really long, boring, pre-recorded segment. Jerry Lynn and fake Road Rash character are interviewed. They have nothing interesting to say. They're trying to force them into an argument because of their ECW history. Jerry Lynn whines that Paul Heyman still owes him money and blames Credible for having Heyman's ear. They fight and some security geeks break it up. Tracy Brooks is interviewed now and she reminds us that the stupid tag tournament is still running. Tracy claims David Young can't please a woman and neither can Scott Hudson. Triple X come out now wearing some medium-sized suits. They're on commentary and America's Most Wanted will take on Tracy Brooks and the master of the cab driver slam, David Young. He's now entering to Sonny Siaki's theme music because he's not important enough to have music of his own. Daniels on commentary talks about Low-Key's injury. He says he can't wait till he comes back. Daniels says he's supporting David Young tonight, and so should you. Storm throws Young out the ring and then he sort of throws Tracy out of the ring on top of him. Storm tries to run off Chris Harris's back to dive, but he slips. Storm and Harris look really confused and annoyed. Back in the ring now, Harris hits a vertical suplex on David Young. AMW are double teaming Young now as if they need an advantage in this match. AMW don't want to hit Tracy though, instead they grab her and throw her into Young's face, vagina first. Elix Skipper decides to interfere and he takes out AMW. Tracy Brooks connects with the pie in the sky. David Young hits a superplex to James Storm. Moments later, Tracy crashes headfirst into Young's nutsack. They want a spanker now, but Storm can't manage that. AMW tried to hit the death sentence, but Triple X stopped that. Instead, Harris dived to the outside to take out the Triple X boys. David Young gets a 2 count now from a punch to the slash zone. The crowd chant that was free. David Young then randomly tries a springboard, but as he flies through the air, Chris Harris connects for spear and that's the free. AMW win the stupid tournament and they'll challenge for the tag belts. Storm wants them to have their tag title match now, but some security geeks don't let that happen. So I guess no cab driver slam tonight. It was rendered ineffective in this sort of environment. Young and Tracy are now arguing. Nurse Veronica appears and hits David Young with a steel chair and the segment ends. Scott Hudson in the back asks Styles about his chances tonight. He says last time he faced Jarrett he was a kid, but hanging around with D'Lo has filled his void and I guess D'Lo has turned him into a man. What a weird promo. He keeps talking about how much D'Lo has changed his life and says he's more experienced now. This promo is the exact reason Styles needed a manager in the early days. Mike Tenay makes the announcement that Sting will be here next week for the 1 year anniversary show. Just the main event left now. It's a triple threat for the NWA heavyweight title. Raven and the wacky AJ Styles will challenge for the Slapnuts belt. Jarrett gets rid of AJ straight away and he squares up to Raven. Styles runs back into the ring to take Jarrett out. Raven hits a bunch of arm drags on Styles before Styles floors him too. Slappy almost rolls up Styles and when he gets back up he connects with a dropkick. Once again AJ is sent out of the ring and Raven and Jarrett square off. AJ feels left out so he drags Raven out to the floor. They all start fighting out there leading to AJ diving on the other two guys. Styles sends Raven into the crowd barrier. For some reason the commentary team go nuts. It really didn't look that good. AJ misses his dive from the steps, then Raven does one of his own on Slapnuts. This match is breathless. We're back in the ring now where Raven catapults AJ into Jarrett in the corner. This leads to a Slapnuts powerbomb. Jeff tries the Enziguri which he misses and Raven puts on an STF. It's broken up by Styles. AJ gets a 2 count now off the inverted DDT. Jarrett with an early stroke attempt which doesn't work. Raven also tries the Raven effect but he can't manage it because Styles uses a steel chair. Jarrett and Styles now work together for a bit. Drop toe hold from Jarrett into the AJ senton. AJ now have a springboard Hurricanrana. Slapnuts breaks up that pin and AJ gives him a derpy look. Jeff almost gets the win now if AJ has to break that up. The two best friends use a double submission hold on Raven. Then AJ wants to dive but Raven switches out of the hold at the last second leading to AJ hitting Jeff instead with the leg drop. The match finally takes a breather for the first time as all three men are spent. Raven eventually gets back up and it's the super kick on Jarrett and a couple of running knee lifts. Raven has his chair and uses the drop toe hold to slam Slappy's head into the chair. He does the same thing to Styles but he can't get the free. More finisher reversals until Raven hits the Raven effect. He can't get the free because Shane Douglas makes his TNA debut. He pulls Raven out of the ring. Douglas takes Raven to the back of the arena and beats him down, so I assume he's not coming back. Back in the ring, AJ hits Jarrett the title belt. Why did the ref need to be distracted for that? They've been using weapons all match. AJ wants to go high risk and he hits the frog splash, but Jeff kicks out the pin. AJ's going nuts now, but Jarrett wakes up and he catches AJ and gives him an Alabama slam. Just a 2. It's now Jeff's turn to get caught and Styles powerbombs him. AJ now turns a pinning attempt into the Styles Clash attempt, but Jarrett is still reversing things. Then there's a ref bump as Jeff hits another Alabama slam. I wonder how many ref bumps there have been in Jeff Jarrett matches over the years. A springboard 450 doesn't work for AJ as Jeff gets his knees up. Oh no, Russo's here with a guitar. He smacks Jeff with it, which actually gets a really loud positive reaction from the fans. AJ immediately hits the Styles Clash for the 3. And that's it, Shove It Squad. That's how AJ Styles wins his first world title, because of Vince Russo. Russo is the main character and he flips off Jarrett, he flips off the crowd and he flips off everyone. As Russo hugs Styles, they look a bit like father and son. Jarrett has a mic and he demands his rematch for next week. The crowd chant no. After a consultation with Russo, AJ says, "Who do you think you're talking to?" AJ says he's the champ and he has 30 days to give him a rematch. He'll check his schedule and get back to Jeff. Instead, next week, Styles and a mystery partner will take on Slapnuts and the Stinger Steve Borden. Jarrett ends the show saying he's going to shove the bat where the sun don't shine. A pretty bad show with a cool moment of Styles winning his first world title. The rest of the matches were pretty boring, and I was enjoying the main event until the end. Wish Styles could have won without Russo. It didn't feel like as big a moment as you would have expected it to do. Let's check out the 50th episode of TNA now, where I can't believe I've sat through 49 of these things. This show really hasn't changed much during that time. The 50th anniversary will start with a 6-man tag. Sonny, Don't Look at My Ass Yaki, the master of the cab driver slam, David Young, and a Harris twin. And they'll take on D'Lo Brown, the Sandman, and Kazarian. What a random match. TNA has a new entrance ramp. Kaz takes out Siaki with a springboard, he follows that with a running net breaker for a 2. D'Lo's now in, Siaki uppercuts him and tags out. The Harris boy hits a big side slam on D'Lo. David Young's in now and he gets a leg drop from Kaz. Kaz now hits a Back to the Future with a bridging pin. It's a nice move, but it doesn't get the 3. And there it is, the cab driver slam, it's over. No, it's not actually, D'Lo breaks up the pin. While Sarman smokes in the crowd, Siaki hits a Northern Light suplex and a T-bone suplex for a 2. Kaz now reverses his pump handle into a pump kick, very appropriate. D'Lo's a house on fire and he almost beats David Young with a wind-up slam. Kaz hits the Wave of the Future followed by a D'Lo frog splash with a nice mid-air adjustment. That's the 3. David Young's not had a big effect on these 2 shows. Sarman celebrates with the others despite not doing anything all match. The SEX guys are bad losers so they jump them. The rest of the group join in the attack as Siaki uses the kendo stick. Then Slapnuts and Sting storm out. Sting kills the SEX guys with bats. He points the bat at David Young who says F that, but he turns into a Slapnuts guitar shot. I enjoyed that opener. Mike Tenay announces that TNA now has a Spanish announce team. Wouldn't it have been hilarious if it was those 2 twins? Sadly not, it's just Conad. From that to a Vince Russo promo. He's looking smug and has long curly hair. He asks the crowd if they like his new hairstyle because it costs more than their trailers. Mike Tenay looks like a wet teabag. Russo says he's been away spending his time being a dad at home, but then his little girl told him to go back to TNA to look after the hillbillies. That's a pretty poor explanation for why he's come back. I mean, if you think about it, he left in the first place because he was heartbroken that his children thought he was a bad dad. So why is that no longer an issue? Russo spends the next few minutes making fun of Southerners. He says the crowd have treated Jeff Jarrett like a used condom. I'm not sure they're ever fully behind him, no matter how hard he tried. Vince says he's going to stand side by side with AJ Styles. He says he's better than Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart and Sting, and he brings the champion out. AJ immediately screams at the crowd to zip it. I love this catchphrase. AJ says he's not like the people in the crowd because they can't even get a job. He says they're all on food stamps and date their sisters. Russo says he's taking the champ to New York. Mike Tenay starts telling AJ off. He says he's been brainwashed by Russo. Mike Tenay looks like he's going to hit AJ. Russo says it's all about screwing to get to the top, and then D'Lo Brown interrupts the interview. They take us for a trip down memory lane about how D'Lo and Russo are friends in the Attitude Era. D'Lo's unhappy with AJ for taking a shortcut in his title win. AJ raises the point that D'Lo told him to do whatever it takes to win. D'Lo can't believe that AJ and Russo are friends. I think he's just jealous. Russo tells D'Lo that Vince McMahon thought he was a worthless mid-carder. This causes D'Lo to attack Russo before AJ beats him down. Raven rushes the ring now. He should be after Shane Douglas, not AJ. Speak of the devil, he's here now and he hits the belly to belly. The crowd chant triple threat and that ends that segment. Goldilocks is here with Tracy and Nurse Veronica. Goldie tells them she supports what they're trying to do, whatever that is. Tracy says women are no longer able to compete with the men. The Nurse reveals they're a tag team that's called Bitch Slap. I'm sure this is doing a lot for women's wrestling. Eric Watts is being mysterious. This guy's so worthless. Oh my god, what is this? A really weird segment. Julio sitting in front of a moving gate. I think someone's locked in behind him. Him and Mickey say they're tired of running. How many drugs did they take? Julio looks homeless. Pepsi Punk walks up and tells Julio he wants to join the gathering. Quote CM Punk nevermore. The segment ends and whatever was going on behind that gate was never mentioned. Who the hell was bashing that gate down from the other side? It was so weird. Okay, now finally we have a match with potential to be decent. It'll be an X Division title match. The challenger is Paul London, who's just returned from London, and he's taking on the champion Chris Sabin. Is this SEX angle over them because no one seems to be coming from that filthy locker room anymore? Nice trade-off to begin with, but Sabin doesn't think so and he's being a dick. London slaps Sabin back. Both guys now hit jumping hurricanranas and then London hits a dropkick which sends Sabin out to the floor. They fight on the ring apron where London sends Sabin into the ring post. Jesus, now London hits a shooting star off the ring apron. The crowd loved that one and so did I. Sabin turns it around with a poke to the eyelid. Now Sabin hits a corkscrew crossbody to the outside. Back in the ring, London tries a dive, but he's met with a Sabin gutbuster. The crowd seem to be in shock that we're finally seeing a good match. Sabin tries an Alabama slam, which London reverses with a reverse spike rana. Sabin's on Dream Street. Paul London makes his fiery comeback. He gets a 2 after dropping Sabin on his face. His next move is reversed into another Sabin gutbuster. CM Punk appears, so the crowd naturally chant Pepsi. Punk sits in the corner like Raisin. Sabin Frankensteiner's attempt is now fought off and London hits the shooting star. He can't capitalise as his gut hurts. CM Punk hits the Raven effect on London, which the cameras pretty much miss, and so did the ref apparently. Sabin wins with the future shot. A good match which needed longer. Goldilocks with a New Jack interview. Jack says he doesn't give a shit about Mike Sanders. Jack says he's caused more pain in the business than anyone and he's going to teach Sanders a lesson. He'll stick his fingers in his eyes and rip his heart out. Jack's fiery promo is interrupted by Sharkboy, who wants to play board games with his friend. Sharkboy has Hulk hands, which seems to impress New Jack. A great promo. Kid Cash is stood by a cage. He seems to be talking to someone in there and he wants to make friends with whoever's supposed to be in there, presumably Abyss. Cash wants help tonight. Abyss doesn't answer him and just throws some trash at the door. Hard 10 semi-final match now. Beyond boring Mike Sanders, who hides behind the new set and he'll take on New Jack. Sanders jumps him on the ramp with a trash can. Sanders has a bulletproof vest on. For some reason, the first shot counted despite the bell ringing after the shot. In the ring, New Jack hits his own trash can lid shot. The crowd are really into this match. Sanders retaliates with 3 shots on the outside. Jack then crashes into a trash can on the outside and Sanders hits him again. He's got a 6-1 lead. Now New Jack dives with a chair shot off the apron but completely misses. Sanders wasn't even in the camera shot, which makes it look like New Jack was diving at nothing. Sanders makes it 7-1. Jack then realises he's getting embarrassed, so he does 1 shot of a cooking sheet. Why doesn't he hit him a bunch of times to catch up? New Jack hits a pole into Sanders' slash zone. Sharkboy is at ringside in the crowd with the Hulk hands. Jack hits another shot to make it 7-4. Now New Jack headbutts a trash can lid into the slash zone, 7-5. Jack has Sanders set up on a table. He's ready to dive, but Sharkboy stops him with his Hulk hands. The crowd chant, use it. Jack looks around at the crowd. Now he starts flexing with the Hulk hands. The crowd are going nuts. Sanders is recovering and getting onto the apron, so New Jack punches him with the Hulk hand and Sanders goes through the table. Love this match. New Jack's great here, amazing ending, and the crowd are really into that one. We get a package about all the stunt work that Trinity does when she's not wrestling. She says she loves pain. We go from that to shots of her on a beach in a bikini bending over. I don't think it's classed as stunt work. She says her main goal is to be the #1 female wrestler and bikini model. Fake Road Rash character Just Incredible up next. God, so many flashbacks on his show. I reckon it's eaten up a combined 20 minutes of all these packages. He takes on Jerry Lynn, who makes the fat girls grin. They start with a lot of heat. The fans chant EC dub. Lynn scores a nice roll-up. Now they both keep reversing each other's moves. Lynn reverses That's Incredible into another roll-up for a 2. Incredible with a crossbody now, but again Lynn rolls that into a pin. Just Incredible stops messing around and hits a super kick. Lynn isn't reversing that one. The crowd chant Just Incredible, so he flips them off. Incredible then manages a roll-up and he gets the 3. The ref sees that he has the ropes, so it's not a 3. Wait, no, apparently it is. The ref didn't see it. How the hell did he not see that? Everyone looked confused. Worst finish ever. The crowd chant bullshit. They keep fighting because of course nothing was really settled here. And this is one match that I'm not particularly keen on seeing again. 2 jobbers in bandanas try to drag Credible away. Who are these guys? They keep brawling, but Tenay says we've got a pre-recorded interview which is more important. Mold Dog conducts an interview now with the rest of the crew. Road Dogg tells Truth he must be proud of being the first black NWA champion, but more importantly, why do you like fried chicken so much? He turns his attention to Konad and he's pretending to be Mike Tenay, knowing about luchadors. But more importantly, he wants Konad to tell him about tacos. I have no idea what these three guys are even talking about. The only bit I understood is that Konad has some weed in his pocket. Moldog says good, it's time to end the segment. Randomly, Kenzo Suzuki is here. He has Amori's entrance music because all Asian wrestlers must have the same song. He takes on Perry Saturn, the most random match in TNA history. Saturn hits a clothesline followed by another knockdown. Saturn's destroying this guy. Why did he even bother coming? Saturn now tries a German, but he gets a back kick to the slash zone. Suzuki nails a back suplex. A knee to the gut follows. Kenzo with a suplex now. The crowd are quiet, they don't know what to think. Saturn with a couple of 2 counts from roll-ups. Now Saturn springs from the middle rope. Suzuki's almost in the wrong place, but Saturn just about reaches him with a dropkick. Perry Saturn with a big suplex, and he tries a scoop slam, but he falls over as he's doing it. Then he tries a springboard splash, but that doesn't look good either. Suzuki now hits a spear. He isn't done and also hits a knee to the face. Saturn responds with a German suplex. Very back and forth match here. Now Perry Saturn sends Suzuki running and he connects with a spine buster. He then nails the top rope elbow drop and he tries to make the cover, but Road Rasher is back and he hits Saturn in the head with a cane. The match is thrown out. An interesting match but a bit botchy. Why would Credible hit Saturn with the cane? Doesn't make any sense. Goldilocks is with Styles in the back. She says she can't believe the decision he made when he sided with Russo. AJ has a mystery partner tonight and AJ says he isn't worried because Vince has his best interests at heart. Now we've got a tag title match, another match which is potentially good. America's Most Wanted will challenge for the tag titles, which are held by Daniels and Skipper, but they all start fighting in the back instead. Triple X seem to get the best of this one. Oh look, it's Low-Key, he's back, he feels like a while since we've seen him. He has a dislocated shoulder, so he shouldn't be a factor. James Storm hits a kick for the first 2 count. Skipper responds by throwing Storm into Daniels' STO. Storm is getting destroyed. Skipper now hits him with an overhead belly to belly. Now they hit him with a suplex splash combination. Harris decides to make the save for his partner with a diving double clothesline and a full Nelson slam to Daniels. The ref says he's not the legal man and sends him away. Moments later, Triple X have some communication problems and Storm makes the tag. Now he's legal. Chris Harris hits a nice power slam to Skipper. Then he reverses the play of the day into the catatonic. Daniels with the save. Daniels hits the Angel's wings on Harris and Storm breaks up the pin. Really cool move now. Harris stacks Skipper on his shoulders, allowing Storm to hit a super hangman's noose. Never seen that before, but Skipper breaks up the pin anyway. Skipper hits a strange looking throw on the Cowboy now. The match starts turning chaotic. There's stuff going on the outside of the ring, but in the ring, Daniels hits Uranagi. He can't hit the BME and he's immediately speared by Harris. So many close falls here. Low-Key hands Daniels a title belt, but he can't hit Storm with it and the Cowboy nails the super kick. AMW hit the death sentence, it should be free, but the ref is pulled out. Skipper decks Storm with the belt whilst the ref's distracted, and that's the free. Man, how many times have Triple X beaten AMW? Surely no more shots for these guys. Good match, shame about the finish. Mike Tenay interviews Jarrett now. It goes on for ages and watching paint dry would be more fun. Then it gets really good. It cuts to the ring where Eric Watts says, well, enough of that boring interview. The crowd cheer and laugh. At least they're self-aware. Watts keeps calling himself Mr. Explosion for some reason. Is this a sex joke or is he wrestling a lot on TNA Explosion? Who knows? Who cares? He reveals he's here to do an interview and he calls out the mighty midget Kid Cash. Cash is taping his fists on the way to the ring. Watts keeps making short jokes. Cash has little man syndrome and this makes him get really mad. Watts asks him why he keeps beating up on women. Cash says it isn't a secret in Nashville and it makes him get goosebumps. Watts doesn't seem to like it and he smacks Cash one. He goes to hit a choke slam, but on the big screen, Goldilocks is locked in a cage of Abyss. Eric Watts rushes backstage and tries to kick the lock off. Cash jumps in, which knocks open the SEX locker room door, and the master of the cab driver slam is in his panties. It ends before anything really happens. Chris Harris is back now, complaining about Triple X. He says next week they're going to have another match, but this time in a steel cage for the belts. This will be the first ever TNA cage match. Just the main event left. AJ Styles will team with a mystery partner. The mystery partner, for some reason, is Sean Waltman. AJ seems confused by this choice. Waltman doesn't emerge for a minute or two. I don't think we've seen him since he wrestled a match against AJ Styles whilst high. They take on Slapnuts and the Stinger Steve Borden. Sting doesn't even get his own entrance. Sting's first US televised match in 2 years and you'd think they'd care more about it. AJ Styles and Waltman crash together. I'm shocked how little fanfare there is for Sting, this is crazy. Sting now throws AJ backwards, but AJ lands on his feet. AJ then tries a drop kick but he misses and Sting almost puts on the Scorpion. Sting carries on by hitting a dive to AJ out the ring. Russo's on commentary as if we haven't heard enough from him already. Waltman looks so weird in a tracksuit. Jarrett sort of powerbombs him and he puts on a figure 4. Styles breaks that up by hitting a springboard leg drop to Jarrett. AJ Styles is now in full control of Slapnuts. AJ hits the dropkick and he's very proud of it. After a long time, Sting gets the tag and he hits a bunch of Stinger splashes. He tries to Scorpion, but that doesn't last because Pac hits him in the head with a bat. Styles now has the Deathlock on, but Borden shoots Styles off. Sting now hits a stereo Death Drop DDT combination, but he's too tired to make the pin and he has to tag Slapnuts in. Jeff hits drop kicks on his two opponents. Russo starts causing a distraction and the match starts breaking down, and it was never exactly solid in the first place. AJ tries a super kick which causes a ref bump. Jarrett with the stroke, but no ref. Russo hits Jeff in the face with the bat. Raisin's here now and he wants to DDT Styles, but Shane Douglas stops him. Once again they brawl away from the ring. Styles tries a flying something, but he's kicked in the slash zone, and once again Jarrett connects with the stroke. When the ref breaks up, AJ is able to kick out. Sting has killed Pac on the outside of a chair. Jarrett now with a super stroker from the top, and this time that is the free. What a horrible match, so much going on and the new champion didn't exactly look strong. They hit Russo in the gut with the bat and then it ends with Raven, Jeff Jarrett and Sting celebrating in the ring like three best friends. Bit of a better show for the 50th episode, but Jesus man, the finishes are so bad in TNA. That's a simple fact. If you don't agree with that, you'll get smacked. Bloody nose, black eyes, covered in tears that you've cried. In front of your girl, you want to hide, but it can't be denied. You ain't got no pride. Your girl more than sighed when I took her for a ride. It's gonna be more than the beating I just described.